Baking sourdough and reading a book both have a lot in common. They both take a long time, require a lot of patience, but they're both some of my most rewarding hobbies. So all that got me thinking, why don't I try to finish an entire book in the time it takes me to bake a loaf of bread? I've come to the conclusion that people love to complicate the hell out of sourdough, and it doesn't have to be this way. I'm a baby sourdough chef, and I've yet to fail a single loaf, and I've made like 5. So let me show you how I do it, because if I can do it, you can definitely do it. Meet my sourdough starter, Gumdrop, because she's so little and perfect. And meet her mother, Stank Bertha, because her hoochie stank. But really, this liquid at the top of a sourdough starter is called hooch, and it smells so bad it's almost good. It smells like if bread was infused with alcohol. All sourdough starter is a mixture of flour and water that's been left out to ferment naturally over time. I got my starter from a friend, but you can easily make yours with a mixture of flour and water over a span of about 7 days. Sourdough starter is essentially the yeast that you put into the bread so that it activates and can expand into a loaf. In order to make a successful sourdough loaf, the first step is to feed your starter and let it double in size. So let's feed Gumdrop, we'll mark it with the rubber band, and then we'll wait until she's double in size. Maybe we'll do 1 more spoon. I'm honestly super imperfect about this process, and it's yet to fail me, so. Okay, I microwaved this water a little tiny bit because I need this process to go by quickly because I need to leave soon. Be really careful if you use warm water because you can easily kill the bacteria that lives inside your starter, so just be really careful. So you really want like a pancake consistency, and there's honestly too much starter in this jar because if it were to double, it's gonna overflow, so I might need to remove some. I honestly put way too much water in here. I'm honestly super imperfect about this process, and it's yet to fail me, so I can add a little bit more flour, just a little. So the consistency is like pancake batter. Whenever I fed it too much, so it was like up here. So I just poured some of the starter into Stank Bertha. This is a good amount to have in this jar. Let me move the rubber band up on this jar to show you how much starter is in here. So the rubber band is just an indicator of the top of the starter. Once this has doubled, that's when you can use it in a recipe. So I'm gonna give her about 2 hours, and I'm gonna go ahead and read just for the summer, and I'll be back whenever she's doubled. I'm only 8% through, but I just need to update and say I love Abby Jimenez so much. She writes banter so well. I'm already invested, and they've only communicated on an online forum and had 1 phone conversation. And I'm already like, get together, get together. Okay, not that dramatically yet, but I'm like smiling at the page already. That doesn't make sense. I'm 8% through. What the hell? Okay, I'm back, and I have some good news and some really bad news. The good news is I got 38% into this book, and I freaking love it. This is gonna be one of my new favorites, I already know. I really like both of the characters, and there's already so much emotional depth along with like fun and silly banter. So I'm really enjoying it. I think I'm going to like this book a lot. The bad news is my starter has not doubled, and I need to leave soon. So I have to work with what I have. I think my starter is strong enough that it'll be okay, especially since I'm gonna leave my dough to ferment for the rest of the day. This isn't ideal, but as you saw in the time lapse, my starter is really bubbly, so I think it'll be fine. We're gonna have to move on. This recipe is not intimidating, it's not fancy, but it will change your life. I found this recipe on YouTube, so I'll put the creator here. She's the one that came up with this recipe, and it's so great. I've used it like 3 or 4 times, and every time the loaf has turned out perfect. So the ingredients are 1 1/4 cup water. I'm using warm water because it's gonna help my starter a little bit. We're gonna use 1/2 cup of starter. We're gonna use 2 3/4 cup flour, and we're gonna add a tablespoon of salt. I'm gonna use these little packets. First, we're gonna add the starter. Then we're gonna add the water. Next, use a fork to mix it up. Then add in the flour. and the salt. So then mix with the fork until you can't mix anymore. Then you're gonna go ahead and mix with your hand. Once you have a rough dough, we're gonna cover it and then we're gonna leave it to rest. We can also go ahead and seal our starter and then put it in the fridge.
Yes.
So the dough is saran wrapped and ready to sit out on the counter. Sourdough is really just a waiting game, so much so that I feel confident I can leave for the entire day and come back to perfectly risen dough. So today I have plans to go have fun with my family at the river. So I'm gonna do that and I'll come back this evening and we can see how much my dough has risen. I'll be sure to bring my Kindle and I'll update you guys along the way.
Get out of my footage.
Hi. So while the bread was doing its thing on the counter, I was doing my thing at the river, socializing, swimming, tubing, and reading.
Take a video of you reading.
Guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. I went to the river with the intention of reading, but most of my time was spent socializing. Like I said in the last video, it's more important to experience the summer than it is to read about it.
Come on, Johnny.
Post it more.
No, but why don't you want to be? Because now it looks like I'm just sitting by a trash can reading. One thing I will be doing is stealing these Lone Star crackers. Thanks. Guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. When I left the house, I was at 36%. The good news is I got 38% into this book. I'm back at the house, I'm at 38%. We didn't read a lot, but I had a good time. I'm happy I went. And my dough is ready for a stretch and fold. It's about double, and then it still needs to sit for a couple hours before I roll it into a loaf. I usually only do this one time because I'm lazy, but you just stretch it over, rotate it, and work your way around the dough ball.
Arabian nights, like Arabian days.
Wrap it back up. Now I will leave this out to sit for a couple more hours. So in the meantime, I'm gonna take a shower and then read my book, and I'll be back whenever it's time to put this into a loaf pan.
It's Ooh, doggies. Look at all that bubbles. Damn, she's sticky. Sticky. You want to go viral with a clip? You're trying to make a new audio? The audio is gonna be crap. It's so
The last time we spoke, I wasn't very far in the book, but now I'm 78% of the way through, thanks to the audiobook. The only time I can do an audiobook is whenever I read enough of the book to make my own understanding of what the people are like, and then I can sometimes go into an audiobook and use that. I was scared it was gonna weird me out, but I actually have been really enjoying the audiobook, and it's helped me get through the book a lot faster. And although it made reading go by so much quicker, there were some moments that made me regret my decision.
Are you going to come back for my birthday? Chelsea asked.
Chelsea leaned over his head. Justin,
I have to go potty.
I'm probably gonna read for the rest of the night and then I'll definitely be able to finish the book tomorrow. But I did the final shaping of my loaf and it looks really good. I think it's gonna taste amazing. It's going to cold ferment in the fridge tonight, and then tomorrow I'll get to try my sourdough and I'll have read this book. At this point, you might be thinking that I'm procrastinating so that I can finish reading. And while yes, you're partially correct, a cold ferment can actually make your sourdough taste way better. So it's a win-win. The moment of truth has arrived. It is time to bake my sourdough loaf. It cold proofed all night. Here's what it looks like. It smells so good. This is my favorite part of the process, mainly because I'm barely doing anything yet again. The oven is doing all the work and I just get to pretend that I'm a trad wife.
Here's everything my husband eats in a day / what I cook for him.
So now we need to score the loaf. I just do this with a knife. Perfect. Okay, the loaf is going to go into the oven at 425 to bake for 35 minutes covered. So make sure there's a lid on there of some sort. Some people use a Dutch oven, but 2 loaf pans work perfectly. Oven time. While my bread's in the oven, I'm gonna finish my book. I'm on chapter 46, so I'm 93% through. I can definitely finish this before the loaf comes out of the oven. So let's read.
I just wanna go out and walk with you. Baby, you know I just like to talk with you. You don't have to tell me anything that's new. I just wanna go out and walk with you.
Finished. It's time! Oh, it still needs to get golden, but oh my god, you're joking. This is the best rise I've ever gotten. And remember, I used that starter that wasn't even doubled yet. So now it's gonna go back in the oven uncovered for 15 to 20 minutes, just until it's golden.
20 minutes later.
My bread is done. Oh, yeah. It looks and smells so good. Let me show you guys. Look at it. Okay, I'm gonna put it in the oven and then crack the oven door so that it can develop a really nice crust on it. So you can basically turn your oven off and then just crack the door open and then keep it in your oven for like 15 more minutes just so that it can develop a crunchy shell on the outside.
15 minutes later.
So I finished my read. It was amazing. I loved it. And as you guys saw, it made me cry. And more importantly, I finished my bread. It looks so freaking good. This might be one of the best loaves I've ever made. I cannot wait to try it, but you're supposed to wait for it to cool down to room temperature before you cut into it, but we'll see how long I can wait.
Many unbearable hours later.
Guys, this is what happens when you give it that extra time forming a crust in the oven. Perfectly crispy outside, and it's gonna have such a soft, tender inside. I'm so excited! Okay, final taste test. It cut kind of bad, but it should taste good. Mm-hmm. Perfect. You should have just been in it, Mom. Mm-hmm. Turned out so perfect. 10 out of 10 bread, 10 out of 10 book. As you guys saw in today's video, I got to read Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. She is definitely one of my favorite authors, if not my favorite author right now. I read Yours Truly, and now I've read Just for the Summer. She writes banter so freaking well, so the book is so much fun to read. But not only is it fun to read, there's also deep messaging within it. Every character has a complex past that defines the way that they move about the world in their present, and that's so accurate. We're all products of our environment, and she writes characters characters so well with that in mind. Justin was so cute and such a little nerd. Like, all of his questionnaires that he would send her were so adorable. If you haven't read this book, I definitely recommend that you read it. I loved all the side characters and all of the friendships, including Justin and his friend group, and then Emma and her best friend. These people felt real to me, and it felt like I was watching a TV show happen in my mind. I loved Justin for Emma. He was such a good example of if he wanted to, he would, and he allowed her to see that when people love you, they show up for you, and that made her reflect a lot about her own life. And I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm not, but you guys should definitely read it. It's deep, it's fun, it's thought-provoking, and it made me tear up quite a bit, especially towards the end. The ending did annoy me a little bit, but I understand completely where that character was coming from, and I'm glad that they took the time to heal that they did. I would give this book a 5 out of 5 stars, and that is incredibly rare for me. I'm such a picky reader. If you guys want to hear what I think about this book on a deeper level, make sure you check out my Goodreads, because I take notes as I read, and I make sure to include all those notes whenever I'm writing my Goodreads reviews. Here's a snippet of my review. In total, this process has taken about 24 hours. But you can't rush sourdough, and honestly, you shouldn't rush a good book either. They both make you slow down and stay present. Bake the bread, read the book, and spend time with the people that you love. Because good things take time, and we should strive to enjoy the process. Thank you so much for being here. If you liked my video, please like it. If you like me, consider subscribing. If you have any questions about sourdough that a beginner can answer, leave them in the comments and I'll be sure to answer. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye! I have some questions for you guys. If you make sourdough yourself or any type of bread, or if you're a baker in general, how do you guys cut a loaf of bread? Because I was using a serrated knife, and for one, I cut my finger open, like sliced. It healed in a couple days, but I don't know how to cut the loaf properly. If you saw in the video, I literally skipped and like took out so many parts of me cutting it because it's so difficult for me to do. Like, I'm using a serrated knife, and since my loaf was so soft this time, like it was just crushing under impact as I was trying to saw at the bread. So if you guys have any advice, let me know. I know there's like a thing that you can use that has little prongs, and then you like put your knife between them so it can like cut even slices, but I don't know if that works. I was thinking I should probably like buy an electric knife that just will saw through it like a piece of meat, but I'm not really sure. The next loaf I'm gonna make is gonna be infused, so I think I'm gonna do a jalapeno cheddar loaf. Hopefully it's good. But yeah, I was super excited to have made such a beautiful loaf in this video, and I was so happy to have read Just for the Summer. I was also so happy to have spent time at the river. It was just overall such a good day, and I'm so glad I got to bring you guys along for the journey. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm so happy you're here, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye!